Tradition to light festival candles for every holiday, so to usher in Rosh Hashana.
The biblical term is they're stiff-necked.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher tishayim al yedei emunah b'Yeshua HaMashiach, or ha'olam v'yishkan, anu malatu ayer shel yotro. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us through faith in Yeshua the Messiah, the light of the world, and in his name we kindle the holiday lights. Hashana.
And Shabbat Shalom. You can be seated. this one. It is Rosh Hashana, and so we have a special service. It's more liturgical, it's more traditional than our normal service. I hope you enjoy it. We enjoy doing the extra liturgy on this day. It gives us the opportunity to participate in something that the Jewish community is participating in as well. So it's truly a blessing for us to be able to do this. We're going to start with the Baruch Hu. In Jewish tradition, you don't read or speak about Scripture without reciting this particular blessing. It's very similar to the blessing before the Torah reading, if you remember it. So I'm going to recite Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. And then you are going to respond back with Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. And it's very, very easy. The melody goes like this. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. So I'll say, Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. And you respond with me, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Bless the Lord who is to be blessed.
Blessed be the Lord who is blessed forever and ever.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, whose word brings the evening dusk. You open the gates of dawn with wisdom. You change the day's divisions with understanding. You set the succession of seasons and arrange the stars in the sky according to your will. Lord of heavenly hosts, you create day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your rule shall embrace us forever. Blessed are you, Lord, for each evening's dusk. With abounding love, you have loved your people Israel, teaching us Torah and mitzvot, statutes and laws. Therefore, Lord our God, when we lie down to sleep and when we rise, we shall think of your laws and speak of them, rejoicing in your Torah and mitzvot always. For they are our life and the length of our days. We will meditate on them day and night. Never take away your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, O Lord, Lord who loves his people of Israel. We read in Deuteronomy 6, beginning in verse 1. Now this is the commandment, the statutes and the judgments which the Lord your God has commanded me to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you are going over to possess it, so that you and your son and your grandson might fear the Lord your God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command you all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. O Israel, you should listen and be careful to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you multiply greatly, just as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you, in a land flowing with milk and honey. These are the verses that lead up to what we know as the Shema. The Shema, we normally read the first verse, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, and then we go directly into the Ve'ahavta, which is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 5 through 9. Today, and on special days, we do a special version of the Shema, which includes a second line of text. Instead of just Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, we add in Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. The melody is very similar. So if you know it, please join with me. If not, when we go to the English at the bottom, you'll join with me now. Please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Blessed is his glorious name, whose kingdom is for all eternity. And now continue to read with me the entire Shema and Ve'ahavta. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. These words, which I am commanding you today, shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your sons, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontals on your forehead. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Throughout the service, you may be seated. Throughout the service, there are punctuation liturgy. It separates different sections of the service from the other sections of the service. We call this a Kaddish. This, what we read now, is the Hatzi Kaddish, or the half Kaddish. It separates the beginning or introductory portions of the service from the remainder of the service. Where it says leader, that would be me. I'll read that into Hebrew. That's why there is no transliteration there for you. You're not supposed to be reading it. Where it says congregation and leader, that's where you will join me If you know it, please join with me. The melody again is fairly simple. If not, when we get to the next page and the next slide, you'll recite it in that particular portion in the English.
Yirkda biytkda shmei brava Yamad brach v'tei v'yonich machutei V'chayi chorun yomechon V'chayi chobeit Yisrael Bara bara Uvizman kamarim V'yimagru Amen Shmei Rabba Mivara Leolam Ulome Anaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitag Yirama V'yinaseh V'yitadam V'yitadeh V'yitalal Shmei Kusha Rihu Leila, Leila, min kovechata v'shirata Tishbagata v'nechemata Damidra me'alma V'yimaru Amen. In English. Magnified and sanctified be his great name in the world which he created according to his will. May he establish his kingdom during your lifetime and during the lifetime of all the house of Israel. Speedily, yes, soon, and say, Amen. Now you. And now, blessed, praised, and glorified, exalted, extolled, and honored, magnified, and lauded be the name of the Holy One, blessed be he. Though he is high above all the blessings and hymns, praises and songs which are uttered in the world, and say, Amen. The Amidah is, in Judaism, also called the Shemona Esrei. It's called the standing prayer. It's called the standing prayer. Yes, the standing prayer. Brother Phil, could you put the lights on, please? It's called the Shemona Esrei. Shemona Esrei in Hebrew is how you say 18. Because there are traditionally 18 benedictions or blessings that are associated with this particular prayer. On Shabbat, we do the first three, the last three. The middle section is basically combined into one because it's a lot of petitions that asks for stuff for us in the Amidah, the standing prayer. On Shabbat and on special holidays, we don't ask for us. We only ask for a relationship with God. And that's what these blessings are designed to do. They are standing prayer, and most of the time they are done silently. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the opportunity to stand and just go before God. This is a time of introspection, a time of just talking to Daddy about everything that's going on in your life, knowing that today, Rosh Hashana, is a new beginning. Get the stuff, anything that you needed to say, get it out, talk to God, and I will keep us on track, and even while I'm speaking these prayers, continue with your own prayers, and we'll get through this all together. The opening part of this is Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tilatecha. O Lord, open my mouth, and my lips will sing your praise. For a second. Blessed are you, Lord, now your fathers. And may your rise, Jacob, great, mighty, also in Psalm 100. Bestow the brother kindness and do well for you remember the pious deeds of our fathers, and will send the Redeemer to their children's children. Because of your love, for the sake of your Blessed art thou, blessed art thou, shield of Abraham. Blessed art thou, blessed art thou, shield of Abraham. Continue on. You are the mighty one forever, O Lord. You are the mighty one forever, O Lord. You raise the dead, sleeping in the grave. You are mighty to save. You raise the dead, sleeping in the grave. You are mighty to save. Please continue in silent prayer. You may stand or you may sit as you are led. Blessed is the Lord, Master of life. Next slide. When I say the last line, next slide. I'm not going to say the rest of it. This is when I say the last line, it's like, yes, next slide. So go to the next slide. Be merciful to us and save us, for we place our hope in you, gracious and merciful God. Amen. Everything that breathes will proclaim the Lord God of Israel is King, and his dominion and grace is long. always place our hope in you. Help me enjoy those who stand with me. Let me be humble before all. Open my heart to your channel so that I may pursue your commandments. Frustrate the desire of those who plot evil against me. Make nothing of their schemes. Do so for the sake of your power and your grace. Answer my prayer for the deliverance of your people. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock and my redeemer. He who brings peace to his universe will bring peace to us, to the people of Israel, and to all mankind. And we all say, did you see it? Magnified and sanctified be his great name in the world which he created according to his will. May he establish his kingdom during your lifetime and during the lifetime of all the house of Israel. Speedily, yes, soon, and stay. Amen. Okay, come on. Big red. See where it says congregation? That's you. You are the congregation. Congratulations. Where it says congregation, that's for you to read. I have tried the best I can to mark those in blue or in different color. If it's too hard to read, then when the person next to you starts to speak, just speak with them. Okay, let's go with that. All right, so we'll go back and we'll do this. Okay, and we all say, Amen.
Let his great name be blessed forever and for all eternity.
Blessed, praise and glory comes from blessed, praise and glorified, exalted, extolled, and honored. Magnified and lauded be the name of the Holy One. Blessed be he. Though he is high above all the blessings and hymns, praises and songs which are uttered in the world, and say, Amen.
May the prayers and pleas of our hearts and of the whole house of Israel be accepted by our Father in heaven.
Let there be abundant peace from heaven, with life's goodness for us and for all the house of Israel. Amen.
May he who brings peace to his universe bring peace to us and to all the people of Israel. And let us say, Amen.
Ooh, there's a typo. Okay, I'll read it as it is. Lesser are you. Baruch atah Adonai, Elohim melech haolam, borei pri ha'adam. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has chosen and distinguished us by sanctifying our lives. Lovingly, you have given us this day of remembrance, a day for the shofar sound, a day for a holy assembly. You have chosen us, sanctifying us among all people. Your faithful word endures forever. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, Lord, King of all the earth, who sanctifies his people, and this day of remembrance, and we all say, Amen. We're going to leave the children in. Are you okay with that? Is it? Okay. Wonderful. So we'll go to the message then. And this is one of my favorite holidays. We're going to pray. Oh, you know what? I forgot to bring No, I did that just to watch the long run. Not you, the adults. They're coming.
There we go. Trade it. I won't trip. Don't trip me. Amen. Children, you may return to your seats. There's always something you forget, right? Anyway, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. This is a biblical feast. We call feasts in Hebrew Chag or Chagim. And there's three feasts or festivals, and these are Chag HaMatzot, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, as much as unleavened bread could be a feast. Okay? Chag HaShavuot, the Feast of Weeks, okay, which is a harvest festival, and that is actually a feast. And then there's Chag HaSukkot, and the Feast of Tabernacles. These are what we also call the Chagim Regalim, or the Regel is the word for foot, and those are foot feasts, or the pilgrimage feasts. These are the feasts where you're supposed to go to Israel every year to celebrate these feasts, and that's what Scripture says. So this evening we are celebrating this feast, Chag. So Chag Sameach is a good greeting for you. It's a memorial. It's a memorial of blowing of the trumpets. So there's a lot of things that's going on. That's horrible grammar. There are a great many things which are happening today. How about that? We are keeping a commandment. For doing this is a commandment. You are here in obedience to the Lord your God, who said, do this. So that's wonderful. We're having a holy convocation, what the Scripture calls a Mikra Kodesh, a holy convocation. We're meeting with the Lord. We're having an appointment. We're on a date. If you think about it, we're on a date with the Lord. Now, some of you may know this already, but it's always good to have a reminder. Others may not realize this. How many of you think that what we're celebrating today is a Jewish holiday? Two? Yeah? All right, so when you look at the Scriptures, in Leviticus, we read something a little bit different. The introduction of the holy days in Leviticus chapter 23 begins this way. These are the appointed times of the Jewish people, which you will celebrate from year to year. Right? Nope. So he's saying, nope. It doesn't say that. It does not say that. It says these are the appointed times of Adonai, the Lord, which you will proclaim as holy convocations. And then it says this: these are my appointed times. The word in Hebrew that many translations render as festival is moed. Moed comes from the root word yad, which means to appoint. So these are appointments. Now, if your boss were to set an appointment with you, you would go, wouldn't you? You better believe your boss is going.
So you're going to be there too. Because if your boss is there and you're not, guess who's in trouble? Not your boss. God has set this appointment up with us since time immemorial. He's the boss. Can we all agree on that? Okay, he's the boss. If we don't show up, guess who's in trouble? It's not the boss. Not the boss. God has set these appointments up throughout the year. These are what we call the moedim, the feasts, the appointed times, is what we call them. And it's a good thing that he has set them up too, because if we were to rely on our own selves to remember to stop and do these things all on our own, we wouldn't do it. I've set my alarm for things and missed it. So God has set these things up, and it's a good thing, because there are a lot of folks who only come out to meet him at these times. Okay? In Christendom, this is what we call your Christmas and Easter Christian. These are the people who only come out twice a year, on Easter and Christmas. In Judaism, we've got the same thing. They're Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Jews. They only come out for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. But God has set up all these other things for us to be able to meet with him. These are the appointments of the Lord. He made them. He's going to keep them. Even if we don't, he is going to keep them despite what we do. But tonight, this very night, we are keeping that appointment. We are on a date with the Lord. Now, Leviticus 23, stay. Stay. I don't think they're going to go anywhere from there. Right? So Leviticus 23 in verse 24, we read this. Tell the people of Israel, in the 7th month, the first of the month is to be for you a day of complete rest, for remembering a holy convocation, announced with blasts on the shofar. Do not do any kind of ordinary work, and bring an offering. Bring an offering made by fire to the Lord. So, one of the things that we're supposed to be doing today is bringing an offering. Hopefully you've brought your offering. Now, before we do this though, let me just remind you what your offering should be. Numbers chapter 29 says this. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you are to have a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. It's a day of blowing the shofar for you. Prepare a burnt offering. Prepare a burnt offering to make a fragrant aroma for Adonai, for the Lord. This is what you should have brought. Are you ready? This is what you should have brought. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year without defect. Hopefully you've all brought your offerings today. Which reminds me, before we go on, I've been asked to make this announcement. When the person who left their bull running in the parking lot, please take care of that. Thank you very much, appreciate it. We'll wait, go on. Tonight, I really want to focus on something else, though. And if you were here over the past couple of weeks, you'll know that the Lord has really been speaking to me about the Word, about His Word, about the covenants that He made, and about our responsibility to not just live the Word, but bring the Word to others. This day it's a memorial for blowing of trumpets. It's also the first day of the new year on the civil calendar, which is why it's called Rosh Hashanah, but there's really no such thing as Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is a Hallmark holiday. And it's been renamed because it says this is the first of the year. It's the head of the year. And that's what Rosh Hashanah means. It means the head of the year. But in the scripture, it's called Yom Teruah. Yom Teruah. Yom Teruah is the day of We call it the Day of Trumpets, or the Day of the Sounding of Trumpets. Really, it's the day of an alarm. It's a wake-up call. Now, today is also, in Jewish tradition, the day that God created mankind and womankind in his image. Now, how did God create? He spoke. He spoke the world into existence. He said, "Let there be light. Let the darkness separate from the light." He said, "Let the waters separate from the." He said, he spoke the word. There's power in the word. He spoke it into existence. And when he says things, they come to pass. Do you believe that? Then what does it mean when God saw mankind and he said, "Zeh tov v'od"? This is very good. In that day, in that time, at that very moment, he wasn't looking just at the creation and commenting on it. He spoke something into existence at that moment. When he created us and he made us very good. Spoke that into existence. In that day, at that time, we were very good. Not because he looked at us and said, and it was, he made it so. He made it so. And in that day, he made a covenant with Adam. He commanded Adam to rule and subdue all of creation, standing in God's place. And what was required of Adam? What was required of Adam was loyalty and love. And we see this every day when we get together. And we recite the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha b'chol nafshecha b'chol me'odecha. You will love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all of your strength. That's what God desires. He made that covenant. That covenant was broken when the man and the woman ate from the tree. Please note, man and woman ate from the tree. Don't try and blame one or the other. They both did it. But guess what did it first? No, don't even go there. That's not the point. The point was that the covenant was broken. And the rest of the story of the entire Bible is God providing a way for man to reconcile with him and show him that we love him and are loyal to him. Love and loyalty. These are all of the subsequent covenants. Love and loyalty. Now you're going to say, what does this have to do with Yom Teruah? Well, Yom Teruah represents a new beginning. A new beginning. This new beginning is interpreted in several different ways. I'll mention a few, but we're going to focus on just one this evening. It's the new beginning that's offered actually in the Mosaic covenant at Sinai. I know you're thinking, wow, forget that. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to share that with you this morning. This evening. Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, thank you for bringing us here this evening. Thank you for this holiday, this feast of remembering. Thank you for all of the things that you do and for appointing these times and setting these times apart just for us to come and meet with you. You're a great and glorious God and King. I'm sure you've got all kinds of other things to do, but you've set this time up for us, for you, and we love you for it. Lord, thank you for this. When we look at your scriptures, Father, when we look at this festival, open our hearts that we might truly understand what it means to have a new beginning. And that really, the new beginning always comes from you. Thank you, Father, in the name of your Son, Yeshua, our Messiah. Amen. And when you think of new beginnings, What do you think? When you think of new beginnings, especially in the Bible, what's the first thing that comes to mind? New beginnings. Spring? Okay. What do you think of? You think of new beginnings? I know what I think of first, like the very first thing when you think about new beginnings, do-overs, starting again. What do you think of? Noah. That's what I think. That's the first thing that pops into my head. Okay? New beginnings. Okay? Noah, righteousness generation. Everybody else. Okay? I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to get a complete do-over. All right, Noah, you and your wife, your 3 sons and their wives, and all these animals, get in the boat. Go on, get in the boat. Get in the boat. Get in the boat. You're all in the boat? Great. Seal it up, flood. The whole thing will start all over again. Do-over. It's a new beginning. To be sure, it represented a new beginning. It was supposed to be a second chance for humanity to show how much they loved the Lord and would remain loyal to Him. But what we saw after the flood, virtually exactly the same thing that had happened before the flood. Okay? With Adam and Eve, it started as an individual thing. The serpent tempted Eve. That was passed along to another person, Adam. And then they were both in sin. You ever seen those commercials on television for that chick? I don't remember what it was. And I told 2 friends. And they told 2 friends. And so on. And so on. And so on. And it just expands exponentially. That's the definition of exponential. And that's what it was like. As sin spread from one person, it eventually infected the entire society. Until the entire culture was infected by it. Now remember that the effect of sin in first 1, then 2 people, was that eventually God had to wipe out the whole thing. He had to wipe it all out. He cannot deal with sin. After Noah, the only thing that changed was that the whole process had to start again. And that's exactly what happened. It started with, if you want to call it Ham. Sin starts with Ham, and Ham's not kosher. No. His name wasn't Ham, first of all, it was Ham. Ham, let us reason together, no. It was Ham. Ham was the father of Canaan. And he saw his father drunk and naked. And then he told 2 friends. And that's how it starts. It's just that simple. And as a result, what we eventually end up with, what do we end up in? As a result of that whole process, the Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel. From one individual, the entire culture becomes corrupted, even after the flood. Now, seeing that mankind, when left to its own resources, wouldn't be able to reconcile, they just wouldn't be able to get it done without God's help. God says, okay, I am ready and willing to step in because I want my creation, which was very good, to show me love, to be loyal to me. I want them to do this. I'm going to help them. And so he began to take matters into his own hands, and he handpicked and crafted a nation that he would use to bring about the reconciliation that humanity needed. Well, he gave a little guidance here, a little guidance there, a little help during the wars. But they were still largely living according to their own ways. Enter Moses. Moses was born a slave in Egypt. All of the children of Israel were slaves, in fact, and God, through Moses, brought them out. I am going to, I will see the whole delivery story for Passover next year, but it's a familiar story, you all know it. They're in slavery. They found they didn't do anything to get themselves there. They were born into it. And they couldn't do anything to get themselves out of it. So they're born into it, can't do anything to get out of it, and God has to intervene. He steps in and he gets them out. And you see already that this is a parallel for our own lives and our own stories with sin. We're born into it. We didn't do anything to get there. We're born into it, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing we can do to get ourselves out. So God has to intervene. But again, I'll save that for Passover. This is the next great new beginning, though, when God delivers them out of Egypt. They had a very different mode than the flood. See, God didn't destroy all the people. It started again with a few in order to allow them to show their love and loyalty to God. Rather, what God did is he gave them a new way to show love and loyalty. It was a new way. And it all started actually with the sound of the trumpet. In Exodus chapter 19, verse 16, reads this. So it came about on the third day, when it was morning, that there were thunder and lightning flashes, and a thick cloud upon the mountain, and a very loud trumpet sound, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. The next verse tells us that with that sound of the trumpet, Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God. So I sort of envision this, because this was the task that Moses had been tasked with. This was his job. Bring them to me. Let me introduce myself to them, that they might love me and show me loyalty, the God who brought them up and out of Egypt. Trumpet blast amidst the thunders and the lightning, and they all go out, and they go out to the mountain. And now my cartoon brain kicks in. And all of a sudden I see God on this side, and all of the children of Israel on this side, Moses in the middle, and he says, people, this is God. God, this is people. I would introduce them by, but I'm terrible with names. So that's sort of how I envisioned that whole thing happening. The trumpet, though, was a signal that something was great, something great was getting ready to happen. It was a wake-up. All right, let's go. It's time. Something is changing. Something is happening. Be ready. Here we go. It's almost like how many of you remember Ed McMahon? Ed McMahon? The Tonight Show. You know, he would go, here's Johnny! Anyway, you knew something was happening. You knew it was getting ready to happen. The trumpet was a signal that something was getting ready to happen. It was an alarm. And I think that maybe that's why the people started to tremble. Not to mention the smoke of the fire on the top of the mountain. But what was happening there was a brand new beginning. It was a new way to show love and loyalty by obedience to his word. The same thing that spoke them into existence. The same thing that spoke their very goodness into existence is now what they would be using to show love and loyalty to their God. It was a new time of commitment as the children of Israel tell the Lord that all you have said we will do. And that's what Yom Teruah, for me, calls to mind. We're told to remember with the blowing of the trumpets, but it's still a time to remember the alarm. It's still a time to remember the lessons from the covenant broken and the covenant remaining. Without God directing our life, any new beginning is doomed. Say it again. Without God directing our lives, any new beginning is doomed to fail. It's like saying, I forgive you, but holding a grudge. no matter how much we try, we will never be able to reconcile with God on our own. Which means that we need to let God make that reconciliation for us. Now, the other trumpet that we remember on this day is the trumpet that will signal the return of our Messiah, Yeshua. Just like the other trumpet, it will also signal a new beginning. Wherever we happen to be in our lives, wherever we happen to be in time, that is a new beginning. As the Word has come to dwell among men for good. It signals the complete reconciliation, not just of mankind, but of all creation. For all creation screams for reconciliation. It will return us to the covenant that was made in the garden, as the King of Kings comes to rule and subdue creation, standing in the place of God. It's a pristine return to the garden, where everything that was made was tov va'od. Very good. Tonight begins a period of time called the 10 days of awe. In Hebrew, we call this the Yomim Noraim. And during this time, any offenses you have committed against God or against others are supposed to be made right. Not by God, but by us. Each one of us is responsible for making amends, and this is the time to do it. Now, there's never a wrong time to make amends. But if you haven't yet, this is a great time. Tradition holds, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, that Yom Kippur, which is 10 days from today, is the last chance for the year to get your names into the book of life. Don't make amends now, you have to wait till next year, and God forbid something should happen between now and next year. Oh, you don't even want to think about it. Now again, I'm not saying there's any perfect time, there's no bad time to make amends, to get self-evaluation started and all of that. What I am saying is that us making reconciliation between each other, us forgiving offenses between each other, is not going to reconcile us to God. The only way to do that is to show Him love and loyalty. And His Word tells us how to do that. How do we do that? How do we show God love and loyalty? Well, we're in a Messianic congregation, and there are plenty of Messianic congregations that will tell you that love and loyalty you show by obedience to the Word. And that means keeping kosher. And that means observing the Shabbat in all 39 categories. And it means not mixing linen and fabrics, and it means wearing tzitzit, and it means putting on a kippah, and it means wearing the tefillin on. What does the Word say is the ultimate love and loyalty? Faith. Faith. Specifically in His Son, Yeshua, the Messiah. Celebrating Rosh Hashana is great. I'm really glad you're here. Celebrating Yom Teruah, celebrating Hashana, celebrating Sukkot. They're all great, and I'm really glad. I'm hoping you're doing it, but it's not going to reconcile you to God. The only thing that will reconcile you to God is faith in His Son. Celebrating God through His Son is greater than celebrating Rosh Hashanah here on earth. Obedience is greater, but the purpose of the obedience, the exhibition of love and loyalty, is greater. Obedience without love and loyalty is legalism. That's not what God is looking for. He's looking for love, not legalism. He's looking for loyalty, not legalism. Love and loyalty is greater. So Yom Teruah is a wake-up. It's a time for us to remember that we are called by His great name to exhibit love of God and loyalty to Him. Why? Why? Because He has shown and continues to show, regardless of what we do, his love and loyalty to us. That's his righteousness. But that's Yom Kippur. We'll talk about that next week. Yom Kippur is a chance at a new beginning. Now I know most of you here, but if you've never had the opportunity to place your faith in Yeshua, the promised Messiah of Israel, now is the time. If you're watching at home and you've never done this, now is the time. There's an alarm that is sounding right now. The sound of the shofar is blowing, and will you hear it? The promise of the Messiah of Israel is now. And he's calling out for you. We don't do this a lot, but I'm going to give you the opportunity right now to hear the alarm. Wake up and place your trust in him. If you're hearing that alarm right now, everyone just close your eyes. Father, you have sounded your alarm. You've called us to the mountain. You've called us to show your love and loyalty, our love and loyalty to you. And you've called us to do this by placing our trust and our faith in Yeshua, your Son, as Messiah. I know that I need you. I know that I was born into sin and I cannot get myself out. I need you, Lord, to pull me out. Pull me out of my slavery to sin and save me, set me free. I know that the way to do this is by responding to that alarm and putting my faith and trust in Yeshua, your Son. He is the only way. I am ready right now to put my trust and faith in him as Lord and Savior. And as the scripture says, if you believe in your heart that the Lord has raised him from the dead, and you confess that with your mouth, you will be saved. But I believe in my heart and confess with my mouth that your Son, Yeshua, is the Lord, and you have raised him from the dead, and he now sits at your right hand, having paid my debt and freed me from my sins. And I commit my life to you. I desire to show you the love and loyalty that you desire. Help me now to do that. And I pray in the name of Yeshua, your Son, my Messiah and Lord. Amen. And if you've prayed that prayer, you've heard the alarm, and you have been saved, I would love to know it. I would love to know it. So shoot me an email. If you've done it online, go ahead and put that in as well. We will continue to pray for you. We'll continue with our service. With a prayer called the Aleinu. The Aleinu is actually a response to everything that we've just been talking about. It's a way to say, I know my calling is like everybody else's. And my calling is my task. And my obedience to my calling as a believer is my living sacrifice to you. So if you'll stand with me. If you know this prayer, please join me. If you don't, obviously we're going to say this together in English afterwards. But this is sort of like what I see in Exodus 24. Moses received the law, the word from God. He comes down and he gives it, he spreads it, he shares it with the people. And immediately afterwards, he goes and he builds an altar and he sacrifices. Having heard the word, having submitted and decided to be loyal and in loving God, we now offer ourselves as that sacrifice. And so we sing. Aleinu sameach lahatot hakol, la'tekinu la'aliyot sebo reishit, shelo asanu kivayei haratzot, שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהל, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Let's read this together. We rise to our duty to praise the Lord of all the world, to acclaim the Creator. He made our lot unlike that of other people, assigning us a unique destiny. We bend the knee and bow, proclaiming Him as King of Kings, the Holy One. Blessed is He. Again, if you notice in the Hebrew, please join me. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו You read the blue, I'll read the white.
The Lord reigns forever and ever.
The Lord shall be acknowledged King of all the earth.
On that day, the Lord shall be one, and His name one.
Please be seated. Why are the nations in an uproar, and the peoples devising a vain thing?
The kings of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against His anointed, saying,
Let us tear their fetters apart and cast away their cords from us.
He who sits in the heavens laughs, the Lord scoffs at them.
Then He will speak to them in His anger and terrify them in His fury, saying,
As for me, I have installed my King on Zion, my holy mountain.
I will surely tell them the decree of the Lord. He said to me, You are my son. Today I have begotten you.
Ask of me, and I will surely give the nations as your inheritance, and the very ends of the earth as your possession.
You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall shatter them like earthenware.
Now therefore, O kings, show discernment, take warning, O judges of the earth.
Worship the Lord with reverence and rejoice with trembling.
Do homage to the Son, that He not become angry, and you perish in the way. For His wrath may soon be kindled. How blessed are all who take refuge in Him.
Let's just recite this together when we sing it. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotah, v'tzivanu lishmo'a kol shofar. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctifies us with His commandments and commands us to hear the sound of the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'hidyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has kept us alive and sustained us and privileged us or enabled us to reach this season. Remember, this is the point. To hear the sound of the shofar. I'm reminded of the song says, Ashrei ha'am yodei teruah. Happy is the man who hears the sound of the shofar of the Lord. Tekiah! Give heed to the sound of the shofar, the loud clarion call of the shofar, bringing bright hope to a people long scattered and stricken with sorrow, comforting Israel with promise of divine healing and redemption. Renew your faith in God's covenant that made you a people through Torah. Return to your God and establish a kingdom of peace for all people. Heed the sound of the shofar, the blast that is blown, O my people. Shemalim! Give heed to the sound of the shofar, the sharp, piercing blasts of the shofar, rending the air with its message, its portent of heavenly salvation, summoning man to his Father to render him homage and devotion. Renounce your sins and transgressions, your false aims and vain glorious strivings. Infuse in your hearts a new spirit to beckon a new earth and a new heaven. Heed the sound of the shofar, the blast that is blown, O my people. Oh, I missed Teruah. We'll do Teruah again. Teruah! Tekiah G'dullah! Blessed are the people that know the sound of the shofar. Enlighten your spirit, O Lord Shalom. In your name they rejoice all their days. Through your faithfulness they are exalted. Blessed are they who dwell in your house. Forever they shall praise you. Blessed are the people who thus fare. Blessed are the people whose God is eternal.
God looked on the face of Abraham. Our hands for caught, but Isaac would be free. Sound the shofar from the highest hill. Wake up, people, no more standing still. See the hearts nurtured by hands. Soon our God and King will reap the harvest from the land. Oh, Israel, the Lord
Thank you, Rabbi. First of all, thank you, our Lord, and Lord, thank you for Savior. Lord, makes this time it's not just a social lives, individual children, that's our Christmas. This is how we worship. This is for us to do some good connotation here. Apples and pudding afterwards. Out there, this is a sort of a day. And we obviously want everybody to stay and participate in it. And talk to us a little bit. Let us talk to you a little bit. And maybe one will be going to say, I believe everybody here has been here before. I don't see you the first time in this church. If I'm mistaken, just give me a little. One like that, I wasn't mistaken. Figured faces occasionally, frequently, news escaping from the end. Those who are following the service online, see their own way. You are included in that. So you're videos. It's just the same as you do here. You should be 3 hours of worship. For your convenience, it's not the box. Take a look at that over here. Semi-private for your time training of your answer to that's something's very personal for you. And just simply as the words. I have more services tomorrow, but I'll tell about that later. I think that's all the announcements I have. There's nothing else. And when we're finished, we'll wrap up and tell us about services tomorrow.
I really think this one is going to say thank you for all the prayers even just before coming here, I know it's sort of like that. Before coming in, we go back to each other and for the Lord. And every time it was just stuff that they really these are they all like to checks on the shoulder. But I'm just amazed that despite the circumstances, that I really believe this is all about that. This is just a time of spirit. Knowing for everybody who's been created, knowing these prayers are very real. God does hear these prayers and God does come. And whenever I thought this was, and we working through the things of people that call me, to live some life. So I just want to say thank you for people. I provide the even missing little things.
Thank you for that, Dave. I really appreciate that. We were able to spend some good time with you guys yesterday, and Lynn is in good spirits, which is very, very important. And one of the things that we said in prayer is that her faith and Bob's faith, even through this trial, will stand as a light to all the people in that building. As typically hospitals are not the kinds of places where you find a lot of people who put their trust and faith in the Lord. They put their trust and faith in science and education. Not that they're mutually exclusive, but often in the hospitals they are. And so I pray that their faith would be a light to those who have put their trust and faith solely in science and education, that there is a God, a loving God who does hear and answer prayer. So tomorrow's service will be at 10:45 for the day Rosh Hashana service. We will have more of the liturgy that we've seen. We will be doing a Torah service tomorrow morning We'll be actually reading from the scroll again. And we hope to see you guys all there. That's 10:45, immediately after the service. So there will be no oneg, just a little bit of apples and honey. And we'll be going from here to Franklin Park. At Franklin Park, there is a pond, and we will be, visually illustrating what God says He will do in Micah in chapter 7, which is that He will cast our sin under the sea. And so we're going to take our bread, or leavened bread, and leaven has always been a symbol of sin, and we're going to cast that onto the water, and we'll see what happens to it. Sometimes the fish get it, sometimes the ducks get it, sometimes it floats away, or sometimes it just sinks all the way down the bottom. But anyway, we'll do that, and we'll have a good time together, and I'm going to call that service Tashi, which means the casting. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and we'll bless the wine and the bread. Then we can go ahead and eat afterwards. The tradition is that during these high holy days, the bread is a little different. Instead of being a normal braided challah, this is a round challah. Sometimes it's made with raisins, but it's a more festival challah. So you'll see that out there as well. And apples and honey are the tradition for the season. We're going to do that too. That's why in the opening video you saw them dipping their apples in the honey. We're going to have the opportunity to do that this evening as well. So the fruit of the vine has always been a symbol of joy. Today I am joyful for new beginnings. And for those of you who made a new beginning today, I'm joyful for you as well. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam borei peri ha'grafen. Amen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. The challah is a symbol of provision. Today I am joyful for the provision that He has given us for the way out of sin, the way to respond to the alarm that we hear when we hear the sound of the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, brings forth bread from the earth. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach, Lechem Chai, in the name of Yeshua our Messiah, the bread of life. Amen. We're all getting little pieces. The bread will be out there for everybody to partake in following the service. There are several ways to say the greeting for the end of the service. May it be the Lord's will to renew us for a year that will be good and sweet. The theme of good and sweet is what we wish for the new year. And it's Hashana, which is to a year. Hashana, Hashana, Tova, which is good, a good year. Hashana, Tova, to a good year. Umatucha, that's, and sweet. Hashana, Tova, Umatucha, to a good and sweet year. So we can say Chag Sameach, happy festival. We can say Shabbat Shalom, because it is in fact a Shabbat. And we can say L'shana Tova U'Mutucha. Have a happy new year, a good year, and a sweet year. May your name be found in the Lamb's Book of Life from Revelation 21:27. Shabbat Shalom.